See, I've been working on something for a while. A fun new way to run Warlock, and to keep pace with all the Strand Titan shenanigans. However, while making the video, someone happened to post almost the exact same thing. Goes to show you, don't procrastinate, kids. Honestly though, this video is really good and it covered a lot of the main points in the build. However, I will be taking a step further, refining it a bit here and there. Also, while most build videos often revolve around a single player doing really well, this build absolutely cooks solo, however shines brightest in a team setting. Before we start, let's talk about Grapple. It's one of the most broken abilities in the game right now, as many low-man challenge videos will show you. But why? Sure, Strand Titan is insane. Stacking Banner of War with all the other melee-based effects you can is a strong option. Pair that with a Tangle Point, and you can use that strong ability over and over and over. But that doesn't explain why I said Grapple itself is broken. That would work with any other melee. What makes Grapple broken is that the game considers it both a grenade and a melee. Buffs for both abilities affect it, even at the same time. Now, while it would have been easy to slap on Winter's Guile onto the Strand Warlock and just pretend you're a Strand Titan, without a larger burst damage option in Frenzied Blades, as well as the near permanent Woven Mail Titans have with its Tangles generating it for his team, this probably isn't very safe and will often lead to the Warlock player swinging into danger, hitting something once really hard, then getting smacked.
Guardian down.
But remember, Grapple is a grenade as much as it is a melee. Enter Verity's Brow, with the ability to double your grenade energy, as well as feed grenade energy to your team while you use your buffed grenades. With Verity's, you'll need to start with 5 Strand Weapon kills. You'll place your Grapple from Navigator with a Catalyst, or just borrow one from a teammate, or use a Strand left sitting around. Now while your Grapple is being buffed by Verity's, let's fire our 1-2 punch shotgun. This is a melee after all. Moving over to Kali for our damage testing, starting with our base Grapple, which hits for 7,000 damage. Add Death Throws from Verity's Brow in, and you hit for 14,000. Finally, adding 1-2 punch, we hit for 35,500 damage. Of course, these numbers are being applied twice, so the real number is actually double that. But wait, don't forget our little Threadling buddies. With 3 spawning each melee, hitting the boss for 5,405 damage each, this adds an additional 16.2k damage per Grapple hit. Now we'll need a reference for what these numbers really mean. So with the same setup on a Strand Titan, here's the damage. Synthos and Banner of War with 1-2 punch shotgun hit for 62,600 damage each tick. Worm Gods with the same setup at ×5 hit for 88.6 thousand. At ×4 hit for 75.6 thousand, and at ×3 hit for 62.6 thousand. Meaning our Warlock Strand damage is roughly 20% weaker than Strand. Wait, like I said before, Destiny 2 isn't a solo game. Banner of War not only grants you more melee damage, but your nearby allies as well. And don't forget, Grapple is also a melee. With a Banner of War Titan next to our Warlock, here's our new numbers. With ×5 Death Throws, Banner of War, and 1-2 punch all together, we're hitting for nearly 50k each. Adding the Threadling's damage on top, this build roughly matches or exceeds current Syntho Strand Titan DPS, and only falls short of the highest damage peaks of Worm God Titans. Now while this build is strong, it's also good to note that you'll want certain weapons for this to work. This build will need more adds to upkeep, and requires a Strand weapon for adds. I'd almost always recommend a Strand LMG for this, but at the moment there's only 2 in the game, neither of which are craftable. The Marcado 45, a world drop with no way to focus farm for it, but coming with Demo plus Golden Tricorn. This is by far the best option for the build. If you want an easier farm, but less potent, the Neomuna LMG Circular Logic is much easier, and running Envious and Tricorn would likely be its best role. Though if you got Shot Swap and Demolitionist, I'd argue it's also good for this build, though less valuable for the rest of your account anywhere else. For your 1-2 punch shotgun, at the moment, there's none in the game currently that can run both Demo and 1-2 punch at the same time. So any energy shotgun you have should work. Personally, I run this shotgun, as Grave auto-loading without needing to stow it can be very helpful while keeping up the pace. Finally, for your kinetic slot, while Navigator with Catalyst is ideal, if you have a different person in the fire team already making tangle points, or you simply don't have it, the Iron Banner Waveframe Grenade Launcher with this role can sub great instead, taking your add clear space for your power weapon to be freed up for something like Tractor Cannon or an Eager Edge Sword. Alright, now that we have our pieces, let's put the build together. On the helmet, we have Harmonic Siphon to generate more orbs, as the more orbs around the place, the better for your entire team. Followed up by a Heavy Ammo Finder and Scout, which should be obvious, but as a class that needs to focus on a lot of weapon kills, at least compared to the Strand Titan, you'll see these around much more, and it will help feed your teammates power if they opt to run something like rockets for major or boss damage. For gauntlets, firepower and heavy-handed are identical, though technically optimal to run heavy-handed, as you have another ability that can proc that. We have Impact Induction and Momentum Transfer to feed more energy to our main abilities while we execute the main portion of the build. Avoid stacking the same mod for reduced effect is also a small optimization. On our chest piece, Concussive Dampener is always my go-to, though Melee Resist can also be a viable option, or simply change it to match the elements matching the activity. Charged Up for 4 Charge with Light stacks is both for pairing with stacks on stacks and Special Ammo Finisher to make 2 Special Ammo Finishes in 3 orbs, as well as having more surge uptime if the situation demands it, letting me swap to a different boot with 3 surges just to do extra damage. The rest of the build on the boots and the class item are fairly standard, so I'll just show that here. For subclass options, starting with the aspects, we have the Wanderer for suspending tangles, as well as letting your tangles go in a straight line, helping you move around the map much faster and easier. Next, Mind Spun Invocation is also a pretty easy add-on, as it spawns the high-powered threadlings with every grapple we do, which will be a lot. If you want to abridge this build to fit a Weave Walk Rain of Fire reloads for DPS dumping, and not involve the grapple with the damage itself, I would almost always replace Wanderer over Mind Spun, as the general utility of Wanderer doesn't outpace the sheer extra damage and add clear that Mind Spun gives. For Fragments, Evolution for the bonus damage on our threadlings as well as super energy is a go-to. Ascent for auto reloads when we grapple, though if you have optimal weapons with a Demolitionist on everything, this is less needed, but in general is a strong option and nice to have. Generation for more grenade energy, and is generally used when we're in a pinch and we need a panic regen of a grenade by firing at a major for a little while. Then finally, Warding for Woven Mail on orb pickup. For stats, keep it simple. Max Resilience, then Max Discipline, as high recovery as possible, and anything else as it goes. You can opt to run lower Discipline, as it technically doesn't matter if you're perfect, but this game is weird and will do weird things to you. With this build revolving around having your grapple up, whenever it's not up, we should make sure it gets back as fast as possible. So, why run this over Strand Titan? It's already so strong, why play this? Well, I'd like to highlight some of the main differences. Strand Titan has more survivability and raw damage from its melee combo. What it lacks, however, is the extensive built-in crowd control Strand Warlock has, as well as debatably less helpful super, as the power of a single range damage super is great both for clearing adds quickly and safely, or bursting down a champion, or even adding to boss damage. Finally, let's not forget we're running Verity's Brow. With it, just by doing your damage rotation, you're feeding not only your Banner of War next to you, but your entire team pretty much endless grenades. This build also perfectly supports the Strand Titans, covering for their weaknesses, few though there may be, while letting you keep on a Warlock, which is undoubtedly a more flexible class for other things as well. Are you a Strand Titan that just missed his Tangle Point? Worry not, here's your Grapple back before the Tangle Point could even go away. Are you getting run down by a horde of ads, including unstoppable ogres? Don't worry, a Strand Ball is on the way to suspend it all. What if I, a lowly Warlock, needs Woven Mail in a pinch? While surrounded by danger, the Titan Strand Ball comes in clutch. Armor up, the team is ready to go. Anything one class wants, the other will provide. And, just for good measure, we should also add, well Warlocks love you too. From letting people feel like they have semi-sun bracers active while they have their DPS exotics on, to basically unnerfing Starfire Protocol, you're here for the team. This well user also fleshes out the final member of our 3-person build, and is what I've been using to basically sweep through Legend Onslaught like it's nothing. The Strand Titan for massive damage, the Strand Warlock for amazing damage and ad clear, and the Well Warlock for super healing on boss, the general support class. Once again, shout out to F-Fame for the great video, and for making me feel bad for working slow. Hopefully I've fleshed out a bit of the specifics of the build more, and applied it to a more general use case. A link to his original video will also be in the description. Thanks for watching, and have fun blowing everything up.